Has King Henry walked forth this morning?
No, sir, but it is near his hour.
At any time, when you see him here, let no stranger into the garden. I would not have him stared at. See who's that now entering at the gate.
Sir, the Lord Stanley.
Leave me. My noble lord, you are welcome to the tower. I heard last night you late arrived with news of Edward's victory to his joyful queen.
Yes, sir, and I am proud to be the man that first brought home the last of civil broils. The houses now of York and Lancaster, like bloody brothers fighting for a birthright, no more shall wound the parents that would part them. Edward now sits secure on England's throne.
Near Tewkesbury it was, I think, they fought. Has the enemy lost any men of note?
Sir, I was posted home ere an account was taken of the slain, but as I left the field, a proclamation from the king was made in search of Edward, son to your prisoner, King Henry VI, which gave reward to those discovering him, and him his life, if he'd surrender.
That noble prince, I fear, is unlike his father, too high of heart to brook submissive life. This will be heavy news to Henry's ear, for on this battle his all was cast.
King Henry and ill fortune are familiar. How does he pass the time in his confinement?
As one whose wishes never reached a crown. The king is dead in him, but as a man, he sighs sometimes in want of liberty. Sometimes he reads and walks and wishes that fate had blessed him with an humbler birth than to have felt a falling from a throne.
Were it not possible to see the king? They say he'll freely talk with Edward's friends and even treats them with respect and honor.
This is his normal time of walking forth, for he's allowed the freedom of the garden. After his morning prayer, he seldom fails. Behind this arbor, we unseen may stand a while to observe him.
By this time, the decisive blow is struck. Either my queen and son are blessed with victory, or I'm the cause no more of civil broils. Would I were dead, if heaven's goodwill was so. For what is in this world but grief and care? What noise and bustle do kings make to find it? When life's but a short chase, our game, content, which most pursued is most compelled to fly. And he that mounts him on the swiftest hope shall often run his course into a stand, while the poor peasant from some distant hill, undangered and at ease, views all the sport, and sees content take shelter in his cottage.
He seems extremely moved.
Does he know you?
No, nor would I have him.
We shall show ourselves.
Why, there's another check to proud ambition. That man received his charge from me, and now I am his prisoner. He lots me to my rest. Such an unlooked-for change, who could suppose that saw him kneel to kiss the hand that raised him? But that I should not now complain of, since 'tis possible to that I may owe his civil treatment of me. Good morrow, Lieutenant. Is any news arrived? Who's that with you?
A gentleman who came express last night from Tewkesbury. We've had a battle.
Comes he to me with letters or advice?
He is King Edward's officer, your foe.
Then he won't flatter me. You're welcome, sir. Not less because you are King Edward's friend, for I have almost learned myself to be so. Could I but once forget I was a king, I might be truly a happy and a subject. You gained a battle, is not so?
We have, sir. How will reach your ear too soon?
If to my loss it hands too soon, pray speak, for fear makes mischief greater than it is. My queen, my son, say, sir, are they living?
Since my arrival, sir, another post came in and brought us word your queen and son were prisoners now in Tewkesbury.
Heaven's will be done! The hunters have them now, and I have only sighs and prayers to help them.
King Edward, sir, depends upon his sword, yet prays heartily when the battle's won, and soldiers love a bold and active leader. The English are high-mettled, sir, and 'tis no easy part to fit 'em well. King Edward feels their temper, and 'twill be hard to throw him.
Alas, I thought the men and rather hoped to win their hearts by mildness than severity. When on the city gates I have beheld traitors' quarters parching in the sun, my blood has turned with horror at the sight. I took them down and buried with his limbs. The memory of the dead man's deeds, perhaps. That pity made me look less terrible, giving the mind of weak rebellion spirit. If so, I have deserved these frowns of fortune.
Sir, there's a gentleman brings a warrant for his access to King Henry's presence.
I come to him.
His business may require your privacy. I will leave you, sir, wishing you all the good that can be wished, not wronging him, I sir.
Farewell. What can this be? A sudden coldness like the damp hand of death has seized my limbs. What is it, good lieutenant?
A gentleman, sir, from Tewkesbury. He seems a melancholy messenger, for when I asked what news, his answer was a deep-fetched sigh. I would not press him, but I fear 'tis fatal.
Fatal indeed. His brow's the title page that speaks the nature of the tragic volume. Speak, friend. How does my queen, my son? Thou tremblest, and the whiteness of thy cheek is apter than thy tongue to tell thy tale. Even such a man, so faint, so spiritless, drew Priam's curtain in the dead of night, and would have told him half his Troy was burned. But Priam found the fire ere he his tongue, and thou, my poor son's death, ere thou relatest it. Now wouldst thou say your son did thus, and thus your queen, so fought the valiant Oxford, stopping my greedy ear with their bold deeds. But in the end, to stop my ear indeed, thou hast to sigh, to blow away his praise, ending with queen and son, and all are dead.
Your queen yet lives, and many of your friends. Before my lord your son.
Why, he is dead. Yet speak, I charge thee, tell thou thy master his suspicion lies, and I will take it as a kind disgrace, and thank thee well for doing me such wrong.
Would it were wrong to say, but sir, your fears are true.
Yet for all this say not my son is dead.
Sir, I am sorry I must force you to believe what would to heaven I had not seen. But in this last battle near Tewkesbury, your son, whose active spirit lent a fire even to the dullest peasants in our camp, still made his way where danger stood to oppose him. A braver youth, of more courageous heat, ne'er spurred his courser at the trumpet's sound. But who can rule the uncertain chance of war? In fine, King Edward won the bloody field where both your queen and son were made his prisoners.
Died he a prisoner? Sayest thou how? By grief, or by the bloody hands of those that caught him?
After the fight, Edward in triumph asked to see the captive prince. Prince was brought to Edward roughly chid for bearing arms, asking what reparation he could make for having stirred his subjects to rebellion. Your son, impatient of such taunts, replied, "Bow like a subject's proud, ambitious York, while I now speaking with my father's mouth propose the self-same rebel words to thee, which traitor thou wouldst have me answer to." From these more words arose till in the end King Edward swelled with what the unhappy prince at such a time too freely spoke. His gauntlet in his young face with indignation struck, at which crooked Richard, Clarence, and the rest buried their fatal daggers in his heart. In bloody state I saw him on the earth, from whence with life he never more sprung up.
Oh, heaven! Methinks I see my tender lamb gasping beneath the ravenous wolves' fell gripe. But say, did they all strike him, sayest thou?
All, sir, but the first wound Duke Richard gave.
There, let him stop. That be his last avails. Barbarous act, inhospitable men, against the rigid laws of arms, to kill him. Was not enough his hope of birthright gone, but must your hate be leveled at his life? Nor could the father's wrongs content you, nor could a father's grief dissuade the deed. You have no children, butchers. If you had, the thought of them would sure have stirred remorse.
Take comfort, sir, and hope a better day.
Away! By heaven, I shall abhor his sight, whoever bids me be of comfort more. If thou wilt soothe my sorrows, I'll thank thee. Aye, now thou art kind, these tears oblige me.
Alas, my lord, I feel more evil toward you.
Why let it come? I scarce shall feel it now. My present woes have beat me to the ground, and my hard fate can make me fall no lower. What can it be? Give it its ugliest shape. Oh, my poor boy. What word does that ail comes in Gloucester's form? Frightful indeed. Give me the worst that threatens.
After the murder of your son, stern Richard, as if unsated with the wounds he'd given, with unwashed hands went from his friends in haste. And being asked by Clarence of the cause, he lowering cried, "Brother, I must to the tower. I've business there, excuse me to the king. Before you reach the town, expect some news." This said, he vanished, and my ears arrived.
Why, then, the period of my woes is set, for ills what thought by him I have performed.
Forgive me, my lord, for what I'm compelled to obey. An order for your close confinement.
Whence comes it, good lieutenant?
Sir, from the Duke of Gloucester.
Good night to all, then, I obeyed. And now, good friend, suppose me on my deathbed, and take of me thy last short-living leave. Nay, keep thy tears till thou hast seen me dead. And when in tedious winter nights with good old folks thou sitt'st up late, to hear 'em tell the dismal tales of times long past, even now with woe remembered, before thou bidst good night, to quit their grief, tell thou the lamentable fall of me, and send thy hearers weeping to their beds.
Now is the winter of our discontent. May glorious summer by the sun of yore, and all the clouds that lowered on our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried, now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarums changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war has smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasings of a lute. Yet I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I, that am rudely stamped and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I, that am curtailed of man's fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world, scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why, I, in this weak, piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away my hours, unless to see my shadow in the sun, and descant on my own deformity. Why, since this earth affords no joy to me, but to command, to check, and o'erbear such are of happier person than myself, why then to me this restless world but hell, till this misshapen trunk's aspiring head be circled in a glorious diadem. Then 'tis fixed on such a height, how I must stretch the utmost reachings of my soul. I'll climb the times without remorse or dread, and my first step shall be on Henry's head. Say, my lord, what at your book so hard? I disturb you.
You do indeed.
Friend, leave us to ourselves. We must confer.
What bloody scene has Rocious now to act?
Suspicion haunts the guilty mind. The thief doth fear each bush an officer.
Where thieves without controlment rob and kill, the traveler does fear each bush a thief. The poor bird that has been already lined, with trembling wings misdoubts of every bush. And I, the hapless mate of one sweet bird, have now the fatal object in my eye, by whom my young one bled, was caught and killed.
Why, what a peevish fool was that of Crete, that taught his boy the office of a fowl. And yet for all his wings the poor fool drowned. Thou should have taught the boy his prayers alone, and then he had not broke his neck with climbing.
Kill me with thy weapon, not thy words. My breast can better brook thy dagger's point than can my ears that piercing story. But wherefore dost thou come? Is't for my life?
Think'st thou I am an executioner?
If murdering innocence be executing, then thou art the worst of executioners.
Thy son I killed for his presumption.
Hadst thou been killed when first thou didst presume, thou hadst not lived to kill a son of mine. But thou wert born to massacre mankind. How many old men sighs and widows moans? How many orphans water standing eyes? Men for their sons, wives for their husbands' fate, and children for their parents' timeless death will rue the hour that ever thou wert born. The owl shrieked at thy birth an evil sign. The night crow cried, foreboding bloodless times. Dogs howled, and hideous tempests shook down trees. The raven whooped on the chimney top, and chattering pines in dismal discord sung. Thy mother felt more than a mother's pain, yet brought forth less than a mother's hope. Teeth hadst thou in thy head when thou wert born, which plainly said thou camest to fight mankind. And if the rest be true which I have heard, thou camest...
I'll hear no more! Die, prophet, in thy speech! For this, amongst the rest, I was ordained.
Oh, and for much more slaughter after this, just heaven forgive my sins and pardon thee.
What? Will the aspiring blood of Lancaster sink in the ground? Why, I thought it would have mounted. Oh, look how my sword weeps for the poor king's death. May purple tears be always shed for those that wish the downfall of our house. If any spark of life be yet remaining, down, down to hell, and say, I sent thee thither. I that have neither pity, love, nor fear. 'Tis true what Harry told of me. For I have often heard my mother say I came into this world with legs forward. The midwife wondered and the women cried, good heavens, he is born with teeth. And so I was, which plainly signified that I should snarl and bite and play the dog. Since heaven has shaped my body so, let hell make crooked my mind to answer it. I have no brother. I am like no brother. Let this word love, which greybeards call divine, be resident in men like one another, and not in me. I am myself alone. Clarence, beware. Thou keepst me from the light. And if I fail not in my deep intent, thou not another day shall live. That being done, heavens take the weak King Edward to his mercy and leave the world from me to bustle in. Soft, I'm sharing the spoils before the field is won. Clarence still breathes. Edward still lives and reigns. When they are gone, then I must count my gains. With her excuse to avoid me, alas, she keeps no bed. She has health enough to progress as far as Chertsey, though not to bear the sight of me. I cannot blame her. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, and for I should not deal in his soft laws, he did corrupt frail nature with a bribe, to shrink my armor like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back where sits deformity, to mock my body, to shape my legs of an unequal size, to disproportion me in every part. And am I then a man to be beloved? Oh, monstrous thought, more vain than my own ambition.
Please, my lord, I beg your grace.
Begone, fellow, I am not at leisure.
My lord, the king your brother's taken ill.
I'll wait on him. Leave me, friend. Edward taken ill! Where he were wasted, marrow, bones, and all, that from his loins no more young brats may rise, to cross me in the golden time I look for. But see, my love appears. Look where she shines, darting pale luster like the silver moon through her dark veil of rainy sorrows. 'Tis true, I've a form may little move her, but I've a tongue shall wheedle with the devil. Why, I can smile and murder while I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions. Yet hold, she mourns the man that I have killed. First, let her sorrows take some vent. Stand here, I'll take her passion in its wane, and turn this storm of grief to gentle drops of pity for his repentant murderer.
Hung be the heavens in black, yield day to night. Comets, importing change of time and states, brandish your fiery tresses in the sky, and with them scourge the mad, revolting stars that have consented to King Henry's death. Be accursed the hand that shed his blood, accursed the head that had the heart to do it. If e'er he have a wife, let her be made more miserable by the life of him than I am now, by Edward's death and thine.
Poor girl, what pains she takes to curse herself.
If e'er he have a child, abortive be it, prodigious and untimely brought to light whose most hideous form, whose most unnatural aspect, may find the hopeful mother at her view, and that be heir to his unhappiness. Now, on to Chertsey with your sacred load.
Stay, you that bear the course, and set it down!
What black magician conjures up this fiend to stop devoted charitable deeds?
Villains, set down the course, or by St. Paul, I'll make a course of him that disobeys.
My lord, stand back and let the coffin pass.
Unmannered fool, stand there where I command. Advance thy halberd higher than thy breast, or by St. Paul, I'll strike thee to thy foot and spurn thee, beggar, for thy boldness.
Us, unsated fiend. Thou hast but power o'er his mortal body. His soul thou canst not reach, therefore be gone.
Sweet saint, be not so hard for charity.
If thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries. Why didst thou do this deed? Could not the laws of man, of nature, nor of heaven dissuade thee? No beast so fierce, but no some touch of pity.
If want of pity be a crime so hateful, whence is it thou, fair excellence, art guilty?
What means the slanderer?
Vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman, of these my crimes supposed, to give me leave but by circumstance to acquit myself.
Oh, then take that sword, whose bloody point still reeks with Henry's life, with my loved lord's young Edward's, and here let out thine own to appease their ghosts.
By heaven, by such grief I should accuse myself.
Why, by despairing only canst thou stand excused. Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant ye.
He was gentle, loving, mild, and virtuous, but he's in heaven where thou canst never come.
Was I not kind to send him thither then? He was much fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for anywhere but hell.
Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon.
Your bedchamber.
Ill rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
And so I might, till I might lie in yours.
I hope so.
I know so, but gentle Lady Anne, to leave this keen encounter of our tongues and fall to something of more serious method. Is not the causer of the untimely deaths of these Plantagenets, Henry and Edward, as blameful as the executioner?
Thou wert the cause, and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect. Your beauty that did haunt me in my sleep to undertake the death of all the world, that I might live 1 hour in that soft bosom.
If I thought that, I tell thee homicide. These hands should rend that beauty from my cheeks.
These eyes could not endure that beauty's wreck. You should not blemish it if I stood by. As all the world is nourished by the sun, so I by that. It is my day, my life.
I would it were to be revenged on thee.
It is a quarrel most unnatural to be revenged on him that loves thee.
Nay, 'tis my duty to seek revenge on he that killed my husband.
Fair creature, he that killed thy husband did it to help thee to a better husband.
He's better. He's better. Does not breathe upon this earth.
He lives that loves thee better than he could.
Name him.
Plantagenet.
Why, that was
The self-same name, but one of softer nature.
Where is he?
Take more pity in thy eyes than see him here.
Would they were basilisks to strike thee dead.
I would they were, that I might die at once, for now they kill me with a living death, darting with cruel aim, despair and love. I never sued to friend nor enemy.
My tongue could never learn soft, soothing words, but now thy beauty is proposed my fee. My proud heart sues and prompts my tongue to speak.
Is there a tongue on earth can speak for thee? Why dost thou court my hate?
Teach not thy soft lips such cold contempt. Thy relentless heart cannot forgive. Lo, here I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which if it please thee, hide in this true breast, and let the soul out that adores thee, I lay it naked to the deadly stroke, and humbly beg that death upon my knee.
What shall I say, or do direct me, heaven?
Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry. But 'twas thy wondrous beauty did provoke me. Nay, now dispatch, 'twas I that stabbed young Edlund, but 'twas thy heavenly face that set me on. And I might still persist, so stubborn is my temper, to rejoice at what I've done, but that thy powerful eyes, as roaring seas obey the changes of the moon, have turned my heart and made it flow with penitence. Take up the sword again, or take up me.
No. While I wish thy death, I will not be thy execution.
Then bid me kill myself, and I will do it.
I have
Those in thy rage! Say it again, and even with the word. This guilty hand that robbed thee of thy love shall for thy love revenge thee on thy lover. To both their death shalt thou be accessory. What not a word to pardon or condemn me? But thou art wise, and with thy silence kills me, though even in death my fleeting soul pursues thee. Dash not the tears of penitence away.
Would I knew thy heart?
Disfigured in my tongue.
I fear me both are false.
Never was man true.
Put down thy sword!
Say then my peace, his made.
That thou shalt know hereafter.
Shall I live in hope?
All men I hope live so.
I swear, bright saint, I am not what I was. Thy beauteous eyes has turned my heart to woman. Thy goodness makes me soft in penitence, and my harsh thoughts change to peace and love. Oh, if this poor devoted servant might beg one favor at thy gracious hand, thou wouldst confirm his happiness forever.
What is it?
That it may please you, leave these sad designs to him that has most cause to be a mourner, and presently repair to Crosby House, whereafter I have solemnly interred this injured king at Chertsey Monastery, and wet his grave with my repentant tears, I shall with all expedient duty see you. For divers unknown reasons, I beseech you grant me this favor.
I will. My lord. And much it joys me, too, to see that you have become so penitent. Trestle? Stanley, come along with me.
Bid me farewell.
It's more than you deserve. But since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already?
Towards Chertsey, my lord.
No, to Whitefriars, there attend my coming. Was ever woman in this humor wooed? Was ever woman in this humor won? I'll have her, but I'll not keep her long. What? I, that killed her husband and his father, to take her in her heart's extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of my hatred by. having heaven, her conscience, and these bars against me, and I, no friend to back my suit withal, but the plain devil in this symbolic look. And yet to win her, all the world to nothing. And she abase her beauteous eyes on me, whose all not equals Edward's moiety, on me, who halts and am misshapen thus, my dukedom to a beggarly denier, I have mistook my person all this while. She finds, although I cannot, myself to be a marvelous proper man. I'll have my chambers lined with looking glass, and entertain a score or two of tailors to study fashions that adorn my body. Since I've crept in favor with myself, I will maintain it at some little cost. But first, I'll turn Saint Harry to his grave, and then return lamenting to my love. Shine out, fair sun, till I salute my glass, that I might see my shadow as I pass.
Did you see the Duke?
What Duke, my lord?
His Grace of Gloucester, did you see him?
Not lately, my lord. I hope no ill news.
The worst that heart ever bore or tongue can utter. Edward the King, his royal brother's dead.
That's sad indeed. Did the king, my lord, make any mention of a protector for his crown and children?
He did. Duke Richard has the care of both. He'll spare no toils, I'm sure, to fill his place.
Pray heaven he's not too diligent. My lord, is not that the Duchess of York, the king's mother, coming, I fear, to visit him?
Is she, little knowing what has befallen us?
Good day, my lord. How takes the king his rest?
Alas, madam, too well. He sleeps forever.
Dead. Good heaven, support me.
Madam, 'twas my unhappy lot to hear his last despairing groans and close his eyes.
Another taken from me too. Why, just heaven, am I still left the last in life and woe? First I bemoaned a noble husband's death, yet lived by looking on his images. But now my last support is gone. First Clarence, now Edward is forever taken from me, and I must now force sink down with sorrow.
Your youngest son, the noble Richard, lives. His love, I know, will feel his mother's cares and bring new comfort to your latter days.
To renew indeed, for yet of him I've none, unless a churlish disposition may be counted from a child a mother's comfort. Where's the queen, my lord?
I left her with her kinsmen deep in sorrow, who have with much ado persuaded her to leave the body. Madam, she is here.
Why do you thus oppose my grief, and thus to make me rave and weep the faster? Oh, my mother too in tears. Fresh sorrow strikes my heart at sight of every friend who loved my Edward living. Oh, mother, he is dead. Edward, my lord, your son, our king, is dead. Oh, that my eyes might weep away my soul, that I might follow worthy of his first.
Your duty, madam, of a wife is dead, and now a mother's only claims your care. Think on the prince, your son. Send for him straight, and let his coronation clear your eyes. Bury your griefs in the dead of Edward's grave. Revive your joys on living Edward's throne.
Alas, that thought but adds to my afflictions. New tears for Edward gone, and fears for Edward living, and helpless child in his minority as in the trust of his stern Uncle Gloucester, a man who frowns on me and all of mine.
Judge not so hardly, madam, of his love. Your son will find in him a father's care.
Why, these tears look well. Sorrow's the mold, and everyone at court must wear it now. With all my heart, I'll not be out of fashion.
My lord, just heaven knows I never hated Gloucester, but would on any terms embrace his friendship.
These words would make him weep. I know him, yours. See where he comes, in sorrow for our loss.
Good morrow, friend. Oh, cousin of Buckingham, I am yours.
Good morning to your grace.
Methinks we met like men that had forgot to speak.
We may remember, but our argument is now too mournful to admit much talk.
Amen. Peace be to him that made it so. Sister, take comfort. We all have cause to grieve the dimming of our shining star. But sorrow never could revive the dead. And if it could, hope would prevent our tears. So we must weep because we weep in vain. Oh, madam, my mother, I cry you mercy. Is it you? My grief was blind. I did not see your grace. Most humbly on my knees I crave your blessing.
Thou hast it, and may thy charitable heart and tongue love one another. May heaven endow thy breast with meekness and obedience.
Amen. May I die a good old man. That's the old butt-in of an old mother's blessing. I marvel that her grace did leave it out.
My lord, I think 'twere fit that now Prince Edward forthwith from Ludlow should be sent for home in order to his coronation.
Yes, come, my lord, let's to council and appoint who shall be messengers. Madam, my mother and you, please you go along to give your sentiments on this occasion.
My lord, your wisdom needs no help from me. My glad consent you have in all that's good or just for the people, though I suffer by it.
Please you to retire, madam. We shall not think what you'll not think the people's wrong, nor yours.
May heaven prosper all your good intents.
Amen, with all my heart. For mine's the crown. And is not that a good one? Afraid she not well, cousin.
I hope she prophesied. You now stand fair.
Oh, now by St. Paul I feel it here. But what thinkst thou, cousin? Were it not an easy thing to get Lord Stanley's hand to help it on?
My lord, I doubt that for his father's sake, he loves the prince too well. He'll scarce be one to anything against him.
Poverty, the reward of honest fools, or take him for it. What thinkst thou now of Hastings?
He shall be tried, my lord. I'll find out Catesby, who shall at subtle distance sound his thoughts. But we must still suppose the worst may happen. What if we find him cold in our designs?
Chop off his head. Something will soon determine. But haste and find out Catesby. That being done, follow me to council chamber. We'll not be seen together much, nor have it known that we confer in private. Therefore, away, good cousin.
I am gone, my lord.
Thus far we run before the wind. My fortune smiles and gives me all that I dare ask. The conquered Lady Anne is bound in vows, fast as priests can make us, we are one. The king, my brother, sleeps without his pillow. And I'm left guardian to his infant heir. Now let me see, the prince will soon be here. Let him the crown. Oh yes, he shall have 20. Globes and scepters too. New ones to play withal, but no coronation. No, nor any court flies about him, no kinsman. Let me see. Where should he keep his court? The tower? Aye, the tower! Welcome, my royal cousin. Welcome to London. Welcome to all those honored dignities by which your father's will and by your birth you stand undoubted heir possessed of. And if my plain simplicity of heart may take the liberty to show itself, your father welcome to your uncle's care and love. Why do you sigh, my lord? The weary way has made you melancholy.
No, uncle, but our crosses on the way have made it tedious, wearisome, and heavy. I want more uncles here to welcome me.
Oh. My lord, the mayor of London is here to greet you.
Vouchsafe, most gracious sovereign, to accept the due homage of our loyal city. We, Father, beg your royal leave to speak, in deep condolement of your father's loss, and as far as our true sorrow will permit, to congratulate your accession to the throne.
I thank you, good my lord, and thank you all. Alas, my youth is yet unfit to govern, therefore the sword of justice is in abler hands. But be assured of this, so much already I perceive I love you, that though I know not yet to do you offices of good, yet this I know, I'll sooner die than basely do you wrong.
So young, so wise, they say, do ne'er live long.
My lord, I thought my mother and my brother York would long ere this have met us on the way. Say, Uncle Gloucester, if our brother come, where shall we sojourn till our coronation?
Where it shall seem best to your royal self. May I advise you, sir, some day or two your highness shall repose you at the tower. Then, where you please, and will be thought most fit for your best health and recreation.
Why, at the tower? But be it as you please.
My lord, your brother's grace of York.
Richard of York, how fares our dearest brother?
Oh, my dear lord, so I must call you now.
Aye, brother, to our grief as it is yours. Too soon he died, who might have better worn that title, which in me will lose its majesty.
How fares our cousin, royal lord of York?
Oh, thank you kindly, uncle. Oh, my lord, you said that idle weeds were fast in growth. The king, my brother, has outgrown me far.
He has, my lord.
And therefore is he idle?
Cousin, I should not say so.
Nay, uncle, I don't believe the saying's true, for if it were, you'd be an idle weed.
How so, my pretty cousin?
For I've heard folks say you grew so fast, your teeth could gnaw a crust at 2 hours old. Now 'twas 2 years ere I could get a tooth.
Indeed, I find the brat has taught this lesson. Who told thee this, my pretty merry cousin?
Why, your nurse, uncle.
My nurse, child. Why, she was dead for thou wert born.
If 'twas not she, I can't tell who told me.
So subtle, too. 'Tis piteous 'tis so short-lived.
My brother, uncle, will be cross in talk.
Oh, fear not, my lord. We shall never quarrel.
I hope your grace knows how to bear with him.
You mean to bear me, not to bear with me. Uncle, my brother mocks both you and me, because that I am little like an ape. He thinks that you should carry me on your shoulders.
Why, brother, I have no such meaning.
My lord, will't please you pass along? Myself and my good cousin of Buckingham will to your mother to entreat of her to meet and bid you welcome to the tower.
What, will you to the tower, my lord?
My lord protector will have it so.
I shan't sleep in quiet at the tower.
Our lord and true King Henry lay there, now he sleeps in quiet.
What should you fear, brother?
Why, my Uncle Clarence's ghost, my lord. My grandmother told me he was killed there.
I fear no uncle's dead.
Nor any uncles living, sir, I hope.
I hope so, too. But come, my lords, to the tower, since it must be so.
Think you, my lord, this little prating York was not instructed by his subtle mother to taunt and scorn you thus opprobriously?
No doubt, no doubt. Oh, 'tis a shrewd young master. Stubborn, bold, forward, quick, and capable. He's all the mother's from top to toe. But let that rest. Now what says Catesby?
My lord, 'tis much as I suspected, and he's here himself to inform you.
So, Catesby, hast thou been tampering? What's the news?
My lord, according to the instruction given me, I sounded Hastings, piercing how far he did affect your purpose, to which indeed I found him cold, unwilling. The sum is this: he seemed a while to understand me not at length from plainer speaking, urged to answer. He said in heat, rather than wrongly head you in the crown was due, would lose his own.
Indeed, his own then answer for that saying. He shall be taken care of. Meanwhile, Catesby, be thou near me. Cousin of Buckingham, let's waste no time. The mayor and the citizens are now at busy meeting in Guildhall. Thither I'd have you haste immediately, and at the meetest vantage of your time, improve those hints I gave you late to speak of, but above all, infer the bastardy of Edward's children.
Doubt not, my lord, I'll play the orator as if myself might wear the golden fee for which I plead.
If you thrive well, bring them to meet me here, where you shall find me seriously employed with the most learned fathers of the church.
I fly, my lord, to serve you.
To serve thyself, cousin. For look you, when I am king, claim thou of me the earldom of Hereford, and all those movables whereof the king my brother stood possessed.
I shall remember that your grace was bountiful.
Cousin, I have said it.
My lord, I am gone.
So I've secured my cousin here. These movables will never let his brain rest till I am king. Catesby, go to Dr. Shaw, then to Friar Bucher. Have them both attend me here within the farthest of an hour. Meanwhile, private orders shall be given to look out all admittance to the princes. Now, by St. Paul, the work goes bravely on. How many frightful stops would conscience make in some soft heads to undertake like me? Come, this conscience is a convenient scarecrow. It guards the fruit that priests and wise men taste, who never set it up to fright themselves. They know 'tis rags and gather in the face on't, while half-starved shallow daws through fear are honest. Why are there laws but that we're rogues by nature? Conscience 'tis our coin. We live with parting with it, and he thrives best that has most to spare. Your protesting lover buys hope with it. The deluded virgin, short-lived pleasure. Old graybeards cram their avarice with it. Your late-jawed hungry judge will hang the guiltless and dine upon rather than eat his mutton cold. Crowned head quits it for despotic sway. The stubborn people for unawed rebellion. There's not a soul but has his share of villain. Shall future ages think my deeds inhuman, but that my worst is but ambition? Even all mankind to some love ills incline. Great men choose greater sin. Ambition is mine.
So now, my curse. But see. He comes, the rude disturber of my pillow.
Ah, still in tears. Let them flow on. They're signs of a substantial grief. Why don't she die? She must. My interest will not let her live. The fair Elizabeth has caught my eye. My heart is vacant, and she shall fill her place. They say that women have but tender hearts. 'Tis a mistake, no doubt. I found them tough. They'll bend, of course, but he must strain that cracks them. All I can hope is to throw her into a sickness, that I might send her a physician's help. Ha! Madam, you still take care, I see, to tell the world I love you not. This outward mourning now has malice in it. So do those sullen, disobedient tears. I'd have you tell the world I dote upon you.
I wish I could, but 'twill not be believed. Have I deserved this usage?
You have. You do not please me as at first.
What have I done? What horrid crime committed?
To me, the worst of crimes outlived my liking.
If that be Jesus, then just heaven, be kind, and take me while my penitence is warm, or so forgive. And
If the meddling world will call that murder, and I would have them think me pitiful. Now, if thou had no fear of self-destruction, thou hast a fair excuse for it.
oh, how fain would I be friends with death, or name it.
Thy husband's hate, nor do I hate thee only from the dull edge of sated appetite, but for the eager love I bear another. Some call me hypocrite. What thinkst thou now? Do I dissemble?
Thy vows of love to me were all dissembled.
No, for when I told thee so, I loved. Thou art the only soul I've never yet deceived. And 'tis my honesty that tells thee now, with all my heart, I hate thee. If this has no effect, she is immortal.
Heaven forgive me that I forgave this man.
My lord, His Grace of Buckingham attends your highness' pleasure.
Wait on him, I'll attend him here. Your absence, madam, will be necessary.
Would my death were so.
It may be shortly. How now, cousin? What say the mayor and the citizens?
Now, by our hopes, my lord, they are senseless stones. Their hesitating fear has struck 'em dumb.
Touched you the bastardy of Edward's children?
I did, with his contract to Lady Lucy, nay, his own bastardy and tyranny for trifles. Laid open all your victories in Scotland, your discipline in war, wisdom in peace, your bounty, justice, fair humility, indeed, left nothing that might gild our cause untouched or slightly handled in my speech. And when my oration was done, I urged of them that loved their country's good to do you right and cry, "Long live King Richard!"
And did they so?
Not one, by heaven. But each like statues fixed, speechless and pale, stand in his fellow's face, which, when I saw, I reprehended them and asked the mayor what meant this willful silence. His answer was that the people were not used to be spoken to but by the recorder, who then took him on him to repeat my words. Thus says the Duke, thus hath the Duke inferred, but nothing urged in warrant from himself. When he had done, some followers of my own at the lower end of the hall hurled up their caps, and some 10 voices cried, "God save King Richard!" At which I took the vantage of those few and cried, "Thanks, gentle citizens and friends. This general shout and cheerful applause argues your wisdom and your love to Richard." And even here broke off and came away.
Tongueless blocks! But they not speak, for not the mayor and his brethren come.
The mayor's at hand, my lord. Feign you some fear, and be not easily spoken with, but by mighty suit. A prayer book in your hands, my lord, were well, standing between two reputed divines of the church. For on that ground I'll make a holy descant, yet be not easily won to our request. Seem like the Virgin, fearful of your wishes.
My other self, my counsel's consistory, my oracle, my prophet, my dear cousin, I, as a child, go by thy design.
Hark! The mayor's at hand. Away! No doubt, but yet we reach the point proposed.
Oh, we cannot fail while you are pilot. A little flattery sometimes does well.
Welcome, my lord. I dance attendance here. I am afraid the Duke will not be spoke withal. Catesby, what says your lord to my request?
My lord does humbly entreat your grace to visit him tomorrow or the next day. He is now retired with 2 right reverend fathers, divinely bent into holy meditation, and in no worldly suit did he be moved to interrupt his holy exercise.
Return, good Catesby, to the gracious Duke. Tell him, myself, the mayor, and citizens, in deep designs, in matters of great moment, no less importing than our general good, are come to have some conference with his grace.
I'll instantly inform his highness.
My lords, this is not an Edward. He is not lulling on a lewd love bed, but on his knees at meditation, not dallying with a brace of courtesans, but with 2 deep divines in sacred praying. Happy were England, would this virtuous prince take on himself the toil of sovereignty.
Happy indeed, my lord, but he will soon not refuse our prophet love.
Alas, my lord, you know him not. His mind's above this world. He's for a crown immortal. See there, his door opens. Now there's our hope.
See where his grace stands. Between 2 clergymen?
Aye, 'tis there he's caught. There's his ambition.
How low he bows to thank him for their care. And see a prayer book in his hand.
Would he were king, we'd give him leave to pray. Methinks I wish it for the love he bears the city. How have I heard him vow he thought it hard the mayor should lose his title with his office. Well, who knows, he may be one.
Oh, Lord.
See, he comes forth now, my friends, be resolute. I know he's cautious to a fault, but do not leave until our lawful suit is granted.
Oh, cousin of Buckingham, I do beseech your grace to pardon me, who, earnest in my zealous meditation, so long deferred the service of my friends. Oh, now I do fear I've done some strange offense that looks disgraceful in the city's eye. If so, 'tis just you should reprove my ignorance.
You have, my lord. We wish your grace on our entreaties would amend your fault.
Else wherefore breathe I in a Christian land?
Know then it is your fault that you resign the sceptered office of your ancestors, fair England's throne, your own due right of blood, to the corruption of a blemished stock. In this just cause I come to move your highness, that on yourself you take the charge and kingly government of this your land, not as protector, steward, substitute, or lowly factor for another's gain, but from blood to blood, your own due right of birth and lineal glory.
Upon our knees, my lord, we beg your grace to wear this precious robe of dignity, which on a child must sit too loose and heavy. It is yours, befitting both your wisdom and your birth.
Oh, why would you heap this care on me?
Oh, make them happy. Grant their lawful suit.
I am unfit for state or majesty. I do beseech you, take it not amiss. I thank you for your loves, but must declare, I cannot, I must not, I will not yield to you.
If you refuse us through a soft remorse, loath to depose the child, your brother's son, for well we know your tenderness of heart,
Yet know, though you refuse us to the last, your brother's son will never reign our king. But we will plant some other on the throne to the disgrace and downfall of your house. And thus resolved, I bid you, sir, farewell, my lord and gentlemen. I beg your pardon for this vain effort. My intent was good. I would have served my country and my king, but will not be. And so farewell, till next we meet.
Be not to us, my lord, his grace relents.
Away, my lord, you but deceive yourselves. Sweet prince, accept their suit.
If you deny us, all the land will rue it.
Call him again. Oh. You would entreat me to a world of cares. I am not made of stone, but penetrable to your kind entreaties, though heaven knows against my own inclining. Cousin of Buckingham and sage grave men, since you will buckle fortune on my back, whether to bear her burthen, whether I will or no, I must be paid all. I must be patient to endure the load. But if black scandal or foul-faced reproach do be the secret of your imposition, your mere enforcement will acquittance me. For heaven knows, as you may partly see, how far I am from the desire of this.
Heaven guard your grace. We say it and we'll say it.
But you will say the truth, my lord.
My heart's so full, it scarce has vent for words. My knee will better speak my duty now. Long live our sovereign Richard, King of England!
Your words have touched me nearly, cousin. Pray rise. Oh, I wish you could recall them.
It would be treason now, my lord. Tomorrow, if please your majesty, from council orders shall be given for your coronation.
Even when you please, for you will have it so.
Tomorrow, then, we'll tend your majesty. And now we take our leave with joy.
Adieu, my cousin. My loving friends, farewell. I must into my holy work again. At last, my golden dream is out. Ambition, like an early friend, throws back my curtains with an eager hand to show me what I dreamt was true. A crown, the bright reward for ever daring my youth. Oh, how thy awful glory wraps my soul, nor can the means that doth thee dim thy lustre. For not men's love, fear pays adoration, and fame not more survives from good than evil deeds. Conscience I still, more lives must yet be drained. Crowns got with blood must be with blood maintained.